Hello there and welcome back to SnowRunner. Yes, back on some SnowRunner. Back on the Winter Wonderland map made by the fantastical Mikey Z or Mikey SnowRunner. If you would like to know the details of the map and where to download it for manual download and not through the game's own mod manager, there is a link for that down in the description, as well as um, a way for you to donate, which if should you wish to support this map maker. So all of that is down in the description section. Check it out if you like, and give this map a like if you like, or whatever you like to do. It's all good, all fine. But yes, let's go ahead and get into the game. I should also mention too that should you ever hear a drop in audio or a sudden flash of the screen, no audio all of a sudden from the game. That's just me alt-tabbing to check the time on my OBS, because I don't have a second monitor anymore. Been dealing several months without it now. A few months without it anyway. It kind of sucks, but that's the way it goes. And also, if you see a flash in if you see flashes in the shadows, anything weird going on with the graphics and stuff like that, I do have a failing graphics card, so yeah, see that after image there, and we got some lag going on. Yeah, that's definitely graphics card related. So, oops. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue where we left off last time. The last time we played this map, which, if you remember, last Saturday we did a review on their newest map that they're still working on, um, and whatnot. They're still doing some tweaks to it and stuff like that. So it's an ongoing thing. And also, you should also remember too that um, people who make these mods, these maps, stuff like that, it's all for free. So it's not like you know, they're making money off of this or anything like that. So um, do keep that in mind when um, rating the map and stuff like that, and whatnot. Now, there is a difference between that and completely and utter trash that you should always downvote. You get that, but you know, um, and what's not. Oops, skip time. I just skipped time. Oops. I don't know what that did. I don't think that did anything. Oh, seems my controller has foiled me yet again. Oh yeah, I have a bum controller. It turns left constantly. So it's just the way it is. It's an older. It's not really an older controller. It's just it's a cheapo. I mean, you get what you pay for, so makes sense. And I should also mention too that anything I say in this episode is just a mere suggestion to the mod author, um, and because that we're always in contact when I make these videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I may make suggestions or critique parts of the map and whatnot, but it's no big deal. They are mere suggestions. I do not demand anything, especially. The only time I demand something that should be something is if I paid for it. Looks like we're gonna have to lower down our graphical settings. It has gotten worse. Let's see here. Just a real quick look. I'm just gonna turn everything to high. I used to be able to run that. I don't know. Light shadows, we'll turn those off. Yep, unfortunately, this is what it's come down to. There's our get some frames back. Graphics card used to be able to handle this. This is actually a really good graphics card. It's just it's very unfortunate that that it has been failing. It's just because my my whatchamacallit, my air conditioner. There we go. I can't think of the name all of a sudden. My AC broke where I record my videos, and it was getting up to over the summer. It was getting up to temperatures of 95, anywhere between 95, 98, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Am I taking this the wrong way? I probably am. Yes, I am. I am taking. Well, we can bypass over this way. I think. Yeah, we'll bypass over that way. And yeah, I wish I had better equipment, but no, it is what it is. I do try my absolute best with what I have. And unfortunately, yeah, that's the thing is when you're always low on cash and stuff like that, and you don't have money to be replacing parts all the time, stuff always seems to break constantly, and then you can't afford to replace it. That's the way it goes. But when you have the money to replace stuff, unless you break it yourself, it lasts forever. What the fuck? Even if keep up maintenance and stuff like that, it seems to last forever when you got the money to replace it. The world seems to punish us poor class of people. It is what it is. I just like to talk about it sometimes. It's fun. You truly never know somebody until you hear what their life is, until you get a hint of what their life is actually like. Yeah, we need to take these over to that road there. May have to make my own trail here. Sorry, we'll make our own trail. Well, the problem is the trailer is going to be our... Okay, no, I can swing this. Yeah, we'll just run over a few trees. There we go. Yeah, made our own little trail. Yeah, I need to be on this road. That way we can get down to the river crossing. So we can take this stuff over there. I think then we gotta come back and we gotta go back across the river. It's gonna stay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so we gotta deliver here and here. Well, either one of those ways I have to come back across this river crossing over here, so. Because it doesn't look like there's going to be any spot that I could cross land bridge wise. This river is extremely deep, so gotta be careful. But we got a nice hefty trailer and nice hefty truck, so we should be able to drive right along. And of course, this is a modded truck too, so I rarely play with vanilla trucks. I've tried a few times lately, but it doesn't compare to this OP modded truck. Just because of the way they're designed. They're designed to pad out gameplay and stuff like that, so the trucks don't, even if they have mud tires, which are excellent and stuff like that, that just means they'll never get stuck in the mud, or they will very rarely get stuck in the mud. But that doesn't mean that they're going to go faster. Like those vehicles, the vanilla ones, I think top speed's maybe 30 miles an hour. on a lot of them. Like that's the max they can go, which is makes sense. That's all fine and dandy on muddy, bumpy roads, stuff like that. You don't want to be traveling very fast anyway. But this is a video game. Keep her rolling. Just keep her rolling. I got about half brake on. Yeah, there we go. Didn't want to fully stop there. It's very steep. But yeah, they wanted to pad out gameplay. I mean, name of the game is being stuck in the mud and stuck in the snow and stuff like that, so makes sense. But they padded it out further that even if you're on an asphalt road, those trucks can only go about 20, 30 mile an hour at best. So it's just all designed to pad out gameplay to where, playing the game with this modded truck here, you probably finish the game in, I don't know, maybe 20 hours. Like all the main maps and all the all the missions and side quests and stuff, because this one goes at, an actual speed. Okay, we're not going to be able to use this bridge. We're too big. Also, that bridge has been off kilter, I think. I think the river has pushed it out slightly, or maybe I pushed it out slightly. Yeah, that also goes for the maps, too. All the maps designed by the SnowRunner dev team have been designed in such a way to pad out gameplay. Make sure that on one map you're spending, 50 hours or whatever trying to complete the missions. It's a little bit crazy. That's alright though. That's what the modded trucks are for. Yeah, this is by far one of my favorites because this truck has so many applications. The reason I'm backing up, I'm not going to make that. So here's what we gotta do. For all you people who don't drive a semi but still watch this video. Back up here. If you can't make a corner like that, here's how you do it. Let's turn on low differential lock. It's pretty deep through here. Now we're going slow. So we're going to swing out wide. And we're going to bring it back in. May have to back up, but... Oh, we're good. Now we're going to bring it on into straight. And there we go. Now we're going to make the bridge. I mean, I'm going to make the bridge as nice as I'd like, but... Oh, don't tip a tire off there. Not good. We're going to wait to turn here. Go clear down this way. There we go. And then tip back over this way. There we go. That way, by the time I get the trailer to the bridge, the trailer's straight. In line. Okay, now we'll turn it back to automatic and just go. Turn off that all-wheel drive. Not going to need it for this section. I remember this road being so nice. It's always been that way. Alrighty. Just a quick check of the time, and it's off. We're off. Like I got like a... What I wish I could do was have an overlay on my screen. That was a timer. But you guys couldn't see it, something like that. I could probably do that. I could probably figure it out. And again, yes, I would use Streamlabs because it has way more features, but the problem with Streamlabs is there's one feature they don't have that I use a lot in my videos. And that is the power of the pause feature. So basically, when you're recording OBS, if you bound it to a hotkey. You hit that hotkey and it pauses the recording, and it's an easier way than going in and trying to cut out sections, but it's also a live way of cutting out sections uh, without having to stop things. And you can bound all kinds of hotkeys. Like OBS is pretty good. It doesn't have all the features like Streamlabs does. Streamlabs has a ton of features. And the only thing I don't like about Streamlabs is it costs money to get access to a lot of them that are really useful. And I just don't like it because I can't afford it. I can't afford the monthly subscription. That's the way it goes anymore. A lot of those really awesome tools cost subscription money. And they make buku bucks off of that. It's fine though. It's fine for them to make money. I'm not bashing them for the way they run it. It's just I'm just sad that I can't afford something like that. Maybe one day. Same with video editors and such. So we have to go with the cheapo video editors, which don't have any features at all, other than maybe a cut feature, like Windows, the Windows free version. Editing videos, it just allows you to cut and do a few other little like trim stuff, but that's about it. And then when you go to render the video out again, it takes forever. That program is so slow. It's like, well, fuck. Guess my computer's not going to do anything for the next, 3 hours. Even though the section I'm cutting out is only like maybe 20 minutes long, and the video is maybe only 2 hours, but it takes 5 hours to render. It's like, for fuck's sake. So I've been coming up with better ways using OBS, just better ways to edit my videos, basically as if I was live. Oh, this is where we go to get stuff. Oh, I forgot. Cargo container. I can't carry that. Vehicle spare parts. I thought I was dropping off here. Oh wait, there is a place to drop off here, isn't there? Welfare check. No, it's not that one. Welfare check. No, it's not that one. Property stocking. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. Not that one. Big oil. That's not that one. Welfare check. So that one's clear over there. And this one. That's why I have 4, I believe. Yeah, that's why I have 4. I just went completely the wrong direction. I should have checked my machines. Well. Well, it is just fine. We'll go back across the river. And that sucks. It's gonna be a long drive back. It's gonna be a long drive back because to get to that other road, oh man. It's like as if I already picked up. I had to go to this side to pick up the consumables. We'll just say that. The consumables went bad while they sat, so I had to go pick up more. Go, man, go. Sadly, the game doesn't look as pretty as it's supposed to. Unfortunate. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? uh, So yeah, now, or here in a second, we'll be on the correct road. But yeah, I drove all the way back, pretty much. Thought I wouldn't put you guys through that again. It's like, oh man, big mistake. Wrong road. Uh, no, guess thought I was a lot closer to the main road, to that main road than I thought. Alrighty, here we are. Now we go down this hill. Just take us around to that gas station. It's nice and slow. That's the other thing too. I think the shifting as well in this game is to pad out gameplay, because the automatic shifting in this game is really strange. As you can tell, even with a modded OP truck, I'm still slow. I should not be going this slow in 5th gear. Unless I'm using the Grand Gear set. Maybe I got a Allison 18 speed. 18 speed got, you know, it's like 15 forward and 3 reverse or something like that. Or no, it's 18 forward as well, and then 3 reverse, something like that. Can't remember. But yeah, that's one of the trucks I drove. It had an 18 speed in it because it was a highway truck. It was definitely an interstate / highway vehicle, so it had 18 gears. And if you didn't have to go through all the gears, it's not, it was set up in a way. The way those are set up is you don't have to go through all the gears, but you can if you want to or need to. Because you'd go, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think it was, all the way up to 8. And then you switched over to high and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. And then it had 2 high-low switches. It had the high-low switches for the gears, and then the high-low switches for the high-low range as well. It was really strange the way it was. Actually, it might have been 6. I can't remember. It was when if you never drove something like that before and you try and look at the manual to see how to drive one of those, it was very confusing. Okay, here is your consumables. Got 1 left. We'll take a quick fill up. gas station. There we go. Okay, now we gotta go cross that other bridge. The bridge that I don't think makes any damn sense. It's a concrete bridge to a, like, I don't know, what would you call that? A 75-degree hill? It's really steep. That's alright though. Get her done. This mission's probably going to take up most of the episode, I would say. Oh. Did not swing wide enough. The camera freaked out there. Back on up, try again. Yeah, that should fit now. Oh, just barely. Trailer's a wee bit long for this section. Controller went left randomly. Did you see that? It's just like, yeah, nope. Up we go. Up the steepness. Yeah, definitely keep the main roads nice and smooth and not very steep at all. But keep the main roads long and annoying to deal with time-wise, so that and then have a few hints of some shortcuts that might look like a neat little shortcut that you could take to save some time, and well, ends up taking you damn near just as long because of how unsafe it is and how many times you tip over. Make it tip over, make it super steep, or something like that. Put trees, rocks, that stuff. Make it doable, but man, if you're not going half a mile an hour, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. At least that's the way I would design mine. Doing my little map that I was trying to design. I was just like, I'm gonna make main roads to all the different places that you need to go, but at the same time, where is this? Might have missed my turn. I should have had that mission selected, to be honest. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Welfare check. Yeah. Start tracking. Oh, no. Guessing you place that at the entrance of the way you're supposed to get up there. Looks like you could get up there this way too. We'll take where you intend us to go. Take that way. I do not want to be made a fool of again. By taking a way I shouldn't have taken and be like, oh, that's not that deep. I can get through there. Oh. We ain't thick. Never mind. Think you intend us to go this way? I don't see a path. There's no road or anything. But we'll soldier on. I thought I saw a clearing through here, but maybe I missed it. Sorry, we'll make our own damn clearing. That's a bad idea, isn't it? There's too many big trees in the way. I need to get through there. Yeah, this is not an intended way to go. I'm in trouble here. Let's see. Oh. In the mechs now. Might as well go. Just go for it. Oh wait. Am I in tall suspension mode? Yeah, I was. Okay, that actually. Right, this is a bad day. That's gonna tip me. Aha! I win. Oh, shit. Save it! Save it! Oh, almost saved it. I'm just an idiot. It's okay. Let's see. Activate anchors, crane mode. And shitty crane, go. Yeah, what I mean, shitty crane. Don't want to lift. This thing is so weak. I did win. I celebrated too early, I think is what happened. I'm not letting that down. The crane literally has no strength. Extended out half its weight. It needs to be there. Alright. Restore crane. Attach cargo. Or pack cargo. I win. I still win. It was just... So it turns out my Uncle Tom and Aunt Lori were in a bad car crash. They went over the over to Wink Valley after some home rehabilitation, and are doing well. Oh, okay, I see. They went over to. I see you're referencing another map. That's brilliant. Link to other maps. Now, if you're gonna do stuff like that, if you can figure out how to link the maps together, like the main game does, where it has multiple maps in one section, you could do stuff like that too. And that would be pretty cool if you could somehow figure out to make the maps make sense, that they're linking up or whatever. That'd be pretty nice. And then you could do world building like that as well. It's just like, oh yeah, they went over to Wink Valley, and then, the next map is Wink Valley or something like that, right? Or maybe a map, the third map in the series or whatever, and you go over there and you do another mission. And then you'd be like, hey, I remember that mission. I went and did that, yeah, and now I'm over here helping them out again. Stuff like that. Since they aren't there, enjoy the dinner the kids made. My son and daughter both made it to Master Chef Junior boot camp here. Alright, cool. Wait, is there no way? Wait, how do I get up here? How was I intended to get up here? Oh, confused. Just a big drop off. I gotta figure this out. I think it's over behind me. Just run into a house. Jackknife me trailer. Stupid tree. No, don't hook to that tree. Hook to this tree. Pull me around the house. There we go. want to go around the house once. Yeah, this is all cliff area here. Oh yeah, I could have made it up here, I suppose. But I didn't want to try it because I had forgot. Maybe this is the intended road. Oops. There probably was something I missed back this way. Yeah, I'll try this. It's just kind of hard to tell because it wasn't marked on the map or anything. Oh, you actually made a road here, kinda. You know something else they need to design in this game? They need to redo the winch system, the automatic winch system, where it connects to something, which is button press. Instead of connecting to stuff that will break as soon as you pull on it, don't auto connect. Try to auto connect to a solid object that's not going to snap. I don't know why it wants you to, or why it just connects to all the other connection points and just says, you're fine. Oh yeah, we went and explored all that. Hit most of the places. Okay, so last part of the other mission is a cargo container and 2 vehicle spare parts. Hopefully the vehicle spare parts aren't just here. I mean, if they are, we can always go get them. We'll go get them with another truck. Okay, so yeah, so here's the plan then. We're gonna head back um, to the garage and get another truck to come over here and get those spare parts. Because we need a oversized cargo. An oversized cargo, I believe is oversized cargo 2 slots, or is it 4? Cargo container and oversized cargo. That's the thing they never decided they wanted to differentiate in this game. What? Uh-oh. What the hell? Where am I? Well, what just happened? Uh oh, the map's gone. Oh, there it is. The fuck, man. Uh-oh. That's not good. That is not good at all. Alright, I guess it's a reload. What did I do? Clearly here, but I'm not. Anyway, give me one moment to try and fix this. Oh, I have no idea what that was about, but yeah, just a quick reload and we're back on track. Again, have no idea why that had happened. That was very, very strange. I don't think I've ever had the map unload itself. I have no idea what caused that to happen. I was just in the map, and we were talking about stuff, and then poof, the world went into the oblivion. I didn't even exit the game fully, I just went back to the main menu and reloaded, and that seemed to have fixed it, so I don't know. Maybe there's a bug in the current version of the game that causes the map to unload. That'd be a crazy bug. At least I didn't I thought I fell through the world or something. That's what I initially thought had happened. That's okay though. But yeah, we gotta head back with this truck and trailer back to the garage site. Uh, and get over there to that oversized cargo. Or cargo container. Oversized cargo container. I'm not sure. I mean, either way, this needs to go back to the garage, but... Alright, here's our steep hill. Just hold the throttle in low. Don't try to stop. Just hold her on low and just go. Now, of course, if it was that steep, you would, ruin your transmission. Manual transmission in a real life scenario. If something was that steep and you had a bunch of weight like this, even empty, I still think the clutch wouldn't hold it. Something would definitely slip or snap and send you careening down that hillside. Whoa, camera got caught on the bridge. If I ever stop playing this, though, I might still do trucking on Sundays. Because we do have ATS, so there is that. It's just I don't have money for the newest DLCs lately. Texas is one of the maps, or one of the maps is one of the states they've added recently. But I can't afford that one yet. I have all the way up until Montana and Texas, I think. But their goal is to add every single state to the game. That's their entire goal. I mean, there's already been mods for that, but the mods are not really handcrafted. They're just kind of there. I was a little disappointed with Colorado, though. I mean, it was cool and all, but it's like I've been through Colorado a few times in a lot of them areas, and it's just like, man, this is not what I remember. But it has to be. Yeah, it kind of has to be that way. It has to be a little bit disappointing because the more and more states they add, the bigger the map gets, and the more the game has to work on, because it's ATS. If you don't know, ATS is a trucking game that it does not have any real loading screens. The only loading screen that you'll see most of the time is when you load into the game, obviously. When you get a job loaded onto your truck, sometimes it'll load to put the thing onto your trailer if you own a trailer, or if you're teleporting, it'll load there. But if you're driving between locations, I don't think it'll ever load unless you crash or have to reload the game for some reason or whatnot. Or they update the game and send your truck back to the garage if they have a major update. But for just the normal driving, once you have a load and you're driving down the highway or interstate or whatever, there's no loading between states, there's no loading between areas, it's all one continuous driving game. One continuous driving. Which is really awesome. The only problem I see with it is when they start getting like 70% of the states in, I think they're going to start running to a lot of trouble with people with lower end PCs. I think you're at the very least you're gonna need, you know, you're gonna need mid-range PC parts just to run the game. It's either that or they will have to split it up and make it so that only a certain amount of states are loaded into a game instance, and then when you exit out of those certain amount of states, that section of states, then you go into the next state, then it'll do a little load and load up the next huge section of states. You know, can't have. It'd be pretty hard to have all the states loaded at once. I mean, you're not loading the entire state; it is loading in front of you when you're driving, but you know, all that data has to come from somewhere. It doesn't just appear. And maybe they have their ways and stuff and whatnot. So, but it is a pretty good game. I admit it's about as boring as this game. Maybe more boring, let's say. Okay. So we're gonna trade in another truck here. This one. It's one of the vanilla trucks, but yeah, we're gonna trade in a truck here. From this to this. Yep, we're gonna be bringing out the big guns. Oh yeah. Let's go. This one could hold 3 slots. First I'm gonna go check on that cargo container thing. Because I don't know if it's the 2 slot or the 4 slot. I always forget. Because this game decided they weren't gonna have like they can't say like cargo container big, cargo container small. No, they gotta go cargo container and then oversized cargo when they're both cargo containers. So they couldn't have made it easier to identify which one it is. I don't know, maybe that was intended. I'm not sure. But we got another triple axle here. So I traded in one truck for another. Again, it's got all the beastly additions. And it's technically a rollback tow truck, but you can still haul stuff with it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Here goes my suspension. It's fucked. Surprised I held together. That's a lot of lag. Almost there. But yeah, I think all of the roads and stuff like that should be. That's the thing, right? Like if you make your own road, it's not going to show up on the map. But if you use the road tool, most of the roads will show up on the map, like this one. But if you try to make your own trails and stuff, it's just like I'd maybe save those for the shortcuts. I'm not sure, or long cuts we should call them. Save those for the long cuts. Sure, I could drive in a straight line right here, but I'm going about half a mile an hour because there's rocks and trees and divots and just all kinds of pain. So yeah, was it worth it? You don't even, when you don't know if a shortcut was worth it or not, you you know you done a good job. Or you know that you designed a very well made long cut. Okay, so cargo container is the two. Alright. So we can bring that back. Because we can't get vehicle spare parts here. No, just service spare parts. Okay, cool. So we'll take this cargo container back and we'll put it on the big truck. I'm gonna take a little shortcut. If I tip over, it's gonna become a long cut. Just in the interest of saving a little bit of time. There we go. Very nice. You know, that map unloading I've been thinking about is just like, you know, that could have been done with my graphics card too. My failing graphics card could have done that. But why would it unload the map like that and then reload it the next few minutes? Just go ahead and reload that without shutting the game down or anything. I don't know. That could have been a graphics card error. It's like, we're just gonna load your entire map because that's fun. Yeah, it sure was a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. The autosave lag. That happened like while I was in the map, which was weird. Oh, it might have been because I think a lot of the map actually unloads around you when you're in the map for a certain amount of time. That could be. And then my graphics card just failed to load it all back in because we were in the map for a certain amount of period. Let's see. Packed fingers, there they are. Pack cargo. Grain node. Yeah, this blue crane's a lot stronger than that yellow one. Just to hope, anyway. Yeah, we're good. I set that one right there. We're gonna change trucks real quick. Restore crane. Change truck. Where do we go? There you are. And pack that cargo on. Yep. Change truck again. Now let's go. Oh, let's grab a quick repair in the garage here. Or damn near destroyed suspension. That jump. The benefits of normal mode. And then go this way with it. Yes, yes. You know what I should do? I don't know if I should do it or not. But you know what we could do? If I could send you talking to this map maker, it's just like I don't know if I would do it or not. This is not a thing, but I had a thought that just like, you know, if I could get the map I was making, if I could get that map to a point where I was happy with it, but send it to you to finish it off, that'd be interesting. Yeah, kind of collab on a map, and then we both take credit for it. Be interesting. It's just the reason I had that thought was just because it's just like, man, I just don't have the time to finish this map up, you know? Like I got the landscaping down. I just need to get the main roads in place. Get the main roads in place and some of the details that I wanted to add, you know, personally handcrafted handcrafted details. And it's just like, man, I just can't seem to find the time. I barely find the time to play this game. Even for the few hours that we have, it's I barely have the time for it. Just because it's always so busy. I had so much stuff going on at one time. Including a pickup truck engine that is mostly together. But again, waiting on parts. We're going to have to wait on the funds for the parts, and then we'll have to wait on the parts. I probably got another $100 to $200 in parts. It's just we got it mostly together and started finding out that there was other parts that I needed to replace that I had either completely forgotten about or that I hadn't noticed until I went to put them back on. Like one particular part is a coolant pipe that goes from one part of the intake to another. It's like a crossover almost, in a sense. Goes down one side of the intake. But yeah, you have this heat pipe there, or this coolant pipe, and it sends coolant from one part of the intake to the other, essentially. Well, the problem with it is when I was taking it off, it was really rusted. It was really bad on the one end. The one end had a really rusty bit to it, and I had twisted the line trying to get that off of there. I mean, I think I noticed it at the time, but I was just like, maybe it'll be fine. But then I went to go put it back on, and I was kind of looking at it, and I was just like, no, man, that's way too twisted. The whole line, it's freaking twisted up. And as rusted as it is, the collar was not turning with the wrench. That the collar was, I mean, it was turning a little bit, but it was still twisting the line with it. So, and those pipes are, they're really thin metal pipe. I mean, it's a big metal pipe, but it's really, really thin. That's the way they're made. It's like a heat exchange, like a coolant exchange pipe or some some bullshit. Who knows? I'm I'm on the verge of the pickup that I have is like on the verge of emission control. So I have the very early stages of emission control on it. And there's a whole lot of little stuff, a lot of little sensors and things. I'm guessing they didn't. They're just like, you know, the government says we need to install all these parts, so I guess we'll install them somewhere, and they just picked random spots for them. That might work. So I got a bunch of I've got a bunch of sensors and crap, and it's just like, ugh. So half the shit I don't even know what it does. I literally have to look into the book to find out what it actually is. She's like, "What's this thing?" Ah, this is a evap canister control module, and this is a evap control switch, which goes to the computer that tells the computer when that switch hits, and then when it gets to a certain temperature, then it switches this over to that, and it's like, oh my gosh, man, why? So I've got like I'm happy for the spider injection system, but I do not like all the emission controls on it. There's way too many. And it's a 1996, so I'm like just right after when they really hit hard, where the government really went after the um, the vehicle manufacturing companies here in America to do heavy emissions control, which you know, just like true engineer fashion, The old joke of um, if you say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But an engineer says if it ain't broke, there's not enough features yet. Quote unquote features. It's just like, yeah, that's true engineer fashion. I mean, they kind of had to because the government said they had to, but at the same time, they could have gave it some more thought before they started just throwing sensors in random spots and hoping for the best. It's like, oh, our paper says this sensor is a good spot for here. That's what our paper says. That's what our computer says. Okay, so they go and design it, and they do it. Well, then the problem is for the mechanic that has to work on that crap is now screaming mad um, because he has to now buy another tool, another super expensive tool, or a tool set, whichever, in order to deal with it. And it's only gotten worse over the years. I mean, if you're an old school mechanic like me and you look at something like a hybrid or an electric car, you just throw your hands up in the air and say, "I give up. Nope, not doing it." At least that's me. I said because they were when I went to college, they were just starting to uh, teach the automotive the automotive classes about how to deal with hybrids and electric cars. And yeah, I did what I did for the class to pass the class and stuff. You know, I did all my research and whatnot. Thankfully, because the way our college worked is you had to, like I said before, you actually got to work on customers' vehicles, so um, you knew uh, you knew exactly what it was like to be in an actual shop, which we were very thankful for, or at least I was. I was very thankful for that experience, and I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but anyway, yeah, I just thankfully we didn't have to work on any hybrids. Because hybrids, they had hybrids in electric cars and just starting to come out. And that's where I got my first experience on how to drive a freaking Prius because the college decided it needed a couple Priuses to have as uh, vehicles for the staff to drive or um, whatever it was. And the automotive was just like, oh yeah, okay, so we got a couple Priuses on the cheap. You guys got to keep the maintenance up on it. And we're just sitting there going, we just learned how to work on a Prius, and it seems extremely complicated. And you want us to continue to work on them? I mean, but that is where I got my first experience being underneath the hood of a Prius, as well as get my first experience having to drive one. That was the most confusing shitstorm bullshit on how to drive a vehicle. It's like you get the same reaction if you got a person that always drives an automatic and you put them in a vehicle with a manual transmission. You'll get the same reaction as if you throw an old school mechanic that has, been working on vehicles from the early 2000 era. If that's their highest point, like me, and then um, going all the way down to like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s vehicles. All them vehicles, they're all pretty similar. Um, mechanical wise, but mechanics been doing like that, and you throw them onto a Prius, or not a Prius, but a hybrid car, I guess, essentially. So I get in this thing, anyway, I'll continue on. I get in this thing, and I'm just like, okay, what the fuck? Where's the ignition? Where do I put this key? No, you don't put the key nowhere. Well, you do, but it's not a key. So I'm like, okay, where's the key? Where's the key? Where's the key? And I'm just like, I'm holding this little square black thing in my hands. Apparently, it's called a key fob. And I was like, what the fuck? That was in the cup holder, and I'm just like, what the hell is this thing? It looks like a remote. Okay, so you can unlock the doors with this. So you just put it in your pocket, if you leave the vehicle and you want to lock it up or whatever. I never did think that that was the actual key, but I was never actually told either that it was key fob. So it's just like, what the hell is this thing? So, and they're just like, I get a knock on the window from one of my school colleagues, I guess you could say, essentially, classmates, however you want to say it. And it's like, what are you doing? Are you gonna leave yet? And I'm just like, I don't know how to drive this thing. And they're just like, oh, let me take a look. So they get in there and they're just like, I can't figure this out. So just like, okay, well, I guess the only other option we have is to just talk to the instructor, because neither of us know how to drive this. I doubt most of these people in here probably don't know how to drive it either. And so the instructor gets in there and he's just like, oh yeah, this is called a key fob. And what you do is you take this little thing and you see this little slot right here by the steering wheel. You slide it into this slot. I mean, you don't have to, but you can. They slide it into the slot, and then you press the start button. While holding the brake, you press the start button, which then it goes from not being on to turning yellow, and turns on all the electronics and stuff. And then after a few seconds, you press the start button again or something like that. Press it twice anyway to get it started, and then the vehicle starts up. And he's like, okay, now to put it in gear, you press the brake just like you would do in any automatic situation, automatic transmission situation. And then you pull the shifter over and down to go into drive, and over and up to go into reverse. And then you just pull it. You just press the brake when you're at a stopping position, pull it to the middle, and that's park. And the vehicle automatically parks itself. Essentially, it just I was so fucking like, what the hell? And the shifter wasn't where normal automatic shifters are either. A gear selector, I guess you would say, in this situation. But yeah, it wasn't in the normal position. It's on the dash. The fuck, man. And I thought, I thought manual transmissions being on the steering column, the gear selector on the steering column was weird back with the old vehicles. They had gear selectors on the actual steering column rather than on the floor. Traditionally called 3 on the tree, stuff like that. Some weird fucking things. But I thought that was strange. It was a good experience. I'm glad I went to college there. It was good fun. But ultimately, it didn't work out for me being a car mechanic fully. Things like that don't always work out. I actually ended up, after college, I ended up going into the well business, working on irrigation wells, house wells, windmill wells, stuff like that. Basically just water wells in general. Working on that hard labor job. That's where I got my first taste of operating a vehicle crane, which was basically, it's basically a truck with a crane on it. Not like this, though. The crane is not like this at all. Not like this one. The crane is, it's as if you take you say you take like a big crane arm, right? The part that actually has the hook and the cables and stuff. You take that part of the crane and you put it on hinges, and then you fold it over the front like you fold it over the top of the vehicle, with the hook part where the hook stays, or the top or the end of the crane arm would be towards the front of the vehicle, and then the hinge part of it is on the back. and all the controls are on the rear, and then you fold it all the way past 90 degrees off of the vehicle, so it folds up straight, pointing straight up in the air. That's 90 degrees, and then you fold it further past that, and then that's the crane. So it's not like the cranes you see in this game at all. Not even those cranes. That's where right in front of me there. Not even those cranes. But yeah, and it's not like the other big cranes in this game. The crane add-ons, the big ones. It's not like those either. It's just really strange and hard to explain. But yeah, essentially, yeah. Then we worked on that. That was my first operation for craning. And then after that, that job kind of fell through because the owner had died. And then it got sold to another company, which then screwed me over, in a sense. I say in a sense because I don't want to go into detail. But yeah, they bought out the company I was working for, and I ended up getting screwed over. So then I quit, and then I went to work for Department of Transportation for a few years. Got my CDL, got driving experience through them, and then I went and worked doing the log hauling. And somewhere in between those jobs, a lot of those jobs, I ended up doing tow trucking and stuff like that. So, what am I looking for? Backtrack. Anchors. And crane mode. We'll just throw these on that. Oh, whoops. Keep forgetting to unpack cargo. Unpack. Crane mode. Anyway, I've had pretty good experience with life experiences and stuff like that. The one thing I'm very thankful for as well through those experiences is being able to talk to a lot of older people. A lot of people like in their 50s, 60s, stuff like that. The ones that were still working, but they had tons and tons of life experience where and they were willing to share those life experiences. So then I got a taste of their experiences and stuff like that, hearing about it, learning about it, stuff like that. Listening to what they had to tell me, that's one of the best things you can do. Because they have huge amount of experience with stuff, and if you heed their advice, their warnings and stuff like that, maybe do a little bit of research for yourself so you're not blindly following what somebody says. But talk to people, stuff like that. Talk to the older generations. They will tell you a lot of good things you can avoid making mistakes, stuff like that. And too often, a lot of people just straight up ignore them because it's just like, what do you know? You're part of the older generation. Those experiences, I'm never going to have those experiences or go through that kind of hardship or anything like that. Or you're just an old kook. You don't know what you're talking about. That kind of stuff. And it's just like, and then they go through those experiences, and if they have any kind of sense, they'll realize that, oh, maybe I should have listened. Yeah, and don't worry, I'm guilty of this too. I'm not going to take the high road and say I've never done this, but it's definitely worth doing. Listening to those old kooks talk about their life experiences and such. All right. Yeah, I've enjoyed my life for the most part. It's just sad that I had to come to what's going on right now. I'm not going to go into detail, of course, because that's not something that people want to hear about. But it's just sad I had to come to this. I ended up with back problems and stuff like that, but that's how it goes. All those hard labor jobs, even though they were fun and enjoyable to do, and they were, back-breaking work. Quite literally. It's not an exaggeration. I mean, it is a little bit, but kind of not at the same time. I don't know why this is. It's just one of them games that the only way to make it entertaining, at least from my view, the only way to make this game entertaining for others is to share stories and stuff like that, talk about life experiences and stuff. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I can't do commentary on the game solely on the game. That's just not possible. There's not a whole lot to talk about with this game anymore. This is one of those games that reveals itself very, very, very quickly. Reveals itself on what it's got to offer and stuff like that. Just like ATS, you hop in a truck, you go to point A, pick up what's at point A, take it to point B, drop it off, go to a different location A, or stay at the location B, pick up another load, and go to location C, or whatever, That's pretty much all it is. It's just like real truck driving, just without all the hassle. Yeah, I talked to a few truck drivers on ATS. I have online mode. There's a mod for ATS that allows you to play on a server with multiple other people. The one server I was on usually had an average around 200 people on it. And I talked to some other real life truck drivers, asking them why they play ATS. It's just like, are you a real truck driver? They're like, yes. It's like, okay, so you do that for a job. Why do you play ATS? I was generally curious. Not like not a malicious, why are you playing this type of deal, but it's just like, why are you interested in that? I don't know if I would want to do that kind of stuff. At least not a whole lot of it anyway. If I do it for a job, it's like, why would I want to experience that when I go home and leave my work at work? And it's like, oh, we just most of us just play it because that's we don't in ATS you don't deal with the hassles of actual truck driving that you would otherwise deal with in real life. Like a lot of them truckers are over the road truckers. They go from point A to point B to point C to point D, and then maybe back to point A to point B to point C. They don't have a set route specifically. They own their truck, they own their trailer, or they own their truck and not the trailer, whatever it might be. And then they just kind of like ATS, where you can go from one city to the next to the next to the next, and then maybe go to this city. Oh, I want to go up to this city, see what it's like. So you grab a load, stuff like that. Where it's you're your own boss. That's how ATS is ran for the most part. Hooray! Thanks. Should be good for a couple weeks. Hell yeah. Alright, now we gotta go get a fuel semi-trailer. Which one does that require? Saddle low. Oof. Where's the trailer as well? Oh, the trailer's on that. Oh my gosh, why? Why is it over there? I hate you. I straight up hate you. I gotta drive all the way back. So I gotta drive back to the garage, get a saddle low, because I could afford another one of these trucks, but what's the point, right? I can just change the saddle and be done with it. This is a saddle high, but I still have to drive back to the garage no matter what, because I gotta go to that side of the river. There's no crossing that thing. But yeah, so those type of truckers, they just kind of go from city to city, really. I mean, wherever they can get a load, they live out of their truck. There is no set home for them, really. They may go back home for their here and there, but anyway. So that's how they live. Well, I was talking to again some of those same truck drivers that play the game. It's just like, okay, so what kind of stuff do you not have to deal with then? Because I know nothing about over the road trucking like that. I never wanted to do that. I like to be able to go to an actual house every night. Although if I had to do over the road trucking, I would most certainly probably enjoy it. As long as there was a sleeper and I wasn't staying in hotels and stuff. Just sleep in the damn truck and saves money. But anyway, yeah, so it's just like, okay, well, what kind of stuff do you have to deal with in real life? It's just like, well, a lot of the things they have to deal with is when they're that type of truck is they'll go and they'll get a job, they'll pick up a trailer for whatever it is, or and they'll have a set location to go, and they'll go and deliver it. I don't know how often this happens. This is just what I was told, which I am inclined to believe because more than a few people have mentioned stuff like this happening. And they'll go to their set location, and for whatever reason, the load gets rejected. So then the load has to be driven back to the original point of origin, usually. Either that or the company will figure out something to drop off, and, well, when you're doing something like that, a lot of the times what'll happen is you don't get paid for that job. So you're just money in the hole, You're just sinking money because you have to pay for fuel. You have to pay for all the maintenance. You have to pay for tires if the truck needs it. You have to pay for the parts if it needs it. You got to keep your truck up to compliance with you have to keep it up with compliance of the government and their rule book, stuff like that. Like all the lights have to work, the truck has to be safe, stuff like that, which makes sense. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing the rule book. There might be a few rules in there that might be a little bit harsh, or maybe just is just not needed. But the rule book is there, and there's a lot of really good laws and stuff that you have to follow. That it just makes it not only safe for you, but more or less it makes it safe for the drivers around you, that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's how that gets done with that. And you sink all this money, especially fuel. Fuel is probably one of the biggest ones. I would say the most amount of money they're going to be spending is on fuel, especially nowadays. And then you get there, and the load gets rejected, and they don't want to. They're not going to buy it, or whatever, or however the exchange goes, and whatnot. So it's just like, man, that fucking sucks. Or sometimes you'll get a job, you'll go to it, and the job will be taken. Essentially, it won't be there, or they'll decide that, oh, they're not going to ship it. So if you say you're in one city and you get a job that's really close by in another city, maybe 30 miles to an hour drive to go pick up that load, and you get there, you wasted all that fuel and whatever to go pick up this load, and the company that you're picking up the load for all of a sudden decides they're not going to ship that today, or they're going to wait a few days, or they're just decided against it, stuff like that. It's just like, man, it seems to be so unstable sometimes for some of these truckers, and man, that does suck. Spend all that money, it's just like, nope. Sorry. I even heard of one trucker where he did get to a location, and the load was gone, and the company messed up and had sourced out the one load to two different people. Detached trailer. And when he got there, not maybe 20 minutes after the other driver, and he had to wait 3 days because there was nothing where he was at other than that one load. He couldn't pick up anything else. So he had to wait 3 days inside of his truck because he didn't have enough money for a hotel or anything like that. So he lived out of his truck for 3 days until another load popped up that he could take. It's just like, man, that's crazy. So yeah, that's whoops. I actually meant to change my. I just fixed my truck, but I meant to change my saddle. So yeah, it's just like. I mean, like I said, this information may be inaccurate or whatever. I'm just recounting what I was told. And being of the sheer amount of volume of truckers that I've talked to um, over the time of being able to talk to some of these people, what they're having to deal with. It's like it's a good money maker, but there might be an amount of luck involved with it. But like I said, yeah, it's just recounting. Yeah, it's just a recounting. Take off this crane here. I was lazy. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Actually, I probably didn't have to take off the crane, did I? Oh well, it's fine. Alright, let's go grab this trailer here. Alright, so we need to take this road to get across to there, grab the trailer, and then we gotta come all the way back and around. Let's see how it goes. In the interest of time, we may end up skipping part of the journey. Just so that we can get this mission done for the end of the episode, but that'll probably conclude it, so. We're gonna go see if we can save a stuck trailer. Or a dropped off trailer. So yeah, that's but that's a whole huge explanation of why there's a lot of truckers out there that actually play ATS because, you know, ATS is easy. You go from one location, you pick up the load, and you drop it off, and there's no hassle, there's no nothing. It's just smooth and easy. So yeah, I can see it. I can see that's why they main reasons why they play it, because it's just like this is how awesome my life could be if the world wasn't so fucked up. Like, you know, why shit happens like it does. It's like, man, and I'd be super pissed too. What the hell? But again, like I said, the information may not be totally in 100%. I need to go up here now that I'm bobtailing. I need to go up this way. I think there needs to be way more harsh penalties if it happens a lot, you know, happens real often or whatever. Like the only time I could see it where it's rejected, a load that's rejected at the destination, why it's rejected if the trucker, you know, wrecked the trailer or whatever, or damaged the goods, ran the trailer because of negligence, stuff like that, or it's, you know, damaged because of a wreck or whatever. I could definitely see the rejection there. Woo! Gonna flip back over? Look how OP that is. It's fun. But yeah, as to a comment that I'm just now remembering had popped up. You know, I do know that there are there are truckers out there that there's a lot of truckers out there that are just horrible, horrible truckers. Like, they should not have a license. They should not be anywhere near a semi. Like predators or predators from a school zone. They should not be within 1,000 feet of a truck. Of being inside that cab or whatever. There's people out there, man. But again, it's one of those things. It's just like everybody's always gonna remember the negative experience. At a certain experience, they're always gonna remember the negatives. They're never gonna remember the positives. Unless I trot, of course, not that type of stuff. But it's just like, yeah, I would say for probably every bad trucker. I'm just pulling this out of my ass, but if I had to take a guess, how many good truckers there are versus bad truckers out on the road today. It's probably a lot higher than it used to be, but I'd say for every bad trucker, there's probably, 10,000 good truckers, because getting a CDL is hard. I mean, it's probably gotten a lot easier over the years, but anyway, it still is quite a bit of effort, and you get into a wreck, you get into one wreck or make one huge mistake, one slip up, and you could lose your license, and you have to go through all of that again once that happens usually. I don't know how it is in a lot of other states, but I know in my state it's very, very strict on that type of stuff. That type of stuff, or you could even end up in jail for not following the law when it comes to semis, because you are a big hazard on the road if you're not properly doing what you're supposed to be doing. But I do know that there are some pretty bad truckers out there. But again, it's squeaky wheel gets the grease. One bad apple spoils the bunch usually, because if the bad apple's on top, everybody's gonna look at that bad apple and go, "Nope, not buying apples, not today." That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate reality in our world. And the actions of a few bad truckers has tarnished the reputation of millions of good truckers. Thousands and thousands and thousands and millions. Because if I'm not mistaken, trucking is still the number 2 job as far as population goes. Trucking is still the number 2 job in America. There's more people that are truckers than most other jobs, or pretty much every other job out there. But I just think that maybe they should they could probably alleviate some of it by either raising the age where you can get a CDL, or just being a little bit tougher on certain areas. Possibly. Like, it was still hard for me to get a CDL, but I think it could have been harder. Either that, or you have to, maybe there should be, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, because somebody might take it they may take it the wrong way and go, "Oh, so you support this or you support that type of thing." It's just like, I don't want to say too much, but there should be some kind of thing that ensures that these truckers are on top of their driving. Should be something more, at least maybe on the ones where the companies have got thousands and thousands of truckers under their belt. Look at some of those newer truckers, the ones that are really young and stuff like that. Start paying attention to them a little bit more. Or paying attention to the ones that don't have a spotless record. Because I'm pretty sure it's really hard to keep a spotless record, but also be a hazard on the roadway. And maybe you're just incredibly lucky or whatever. But if you're a huge hazard on the roadway, causing wrecks and just no care for anybody's life around you. I'm guessing that's why more and more companies are doing like dash cams, inside truck cams. They got like cameras inside the truck itself to show what the driver was doing. So if it does have a crash, they can investigate that a lot easier. And be like, oh yeah, the trucker was on his phone. Because you're not going to know that after the crash already happened. It's like, oh yeah, the trucker was on his phone. And he just killed somebody. I think that right there should be pretty highly punished. If somebody ends up at death because of your recklessness, if it isn't punished severely, it should be. That way people stop, I know the state I live in did a pretty harsh. They did a pretty harsh thing that if you get caught so many times on your cell phone, I think it's like 3 times or something. If you get pulled over for being on your cell phone 3 times, I think 3 strikes you're out, and you lose your driver's license for a while. Just like, and plus some pretty hefty fines along with that. Like good, because I don't know. I'm of the older end of generation. Me, if I'm gonna answer a call, I'll answer a call while driving, but only if it's important. Like maybe I'll glance at it to be seeing who's calling me, but most of the time I'm not gonna answer that phone while I'm driving. And I'm certainly not texting. If I have to text somebody, like there's just no other way other than to text them. I'm a caller. I'm I guess what you call a caller. I call people if I want to talk to them. The only time I'm going to text them is if I kind of have to, or I guess if I'm particularly feeling lazy that day, and it's just like I don't want to call them. I just want to ask them a quick question and then hang up. I don't know if it's worth the trouble. Something that's not important to them to be answered right now. That kind of thing. Yeah, I do text, just probably not as much as the average person. I just call them for the most part if I feel the need to. But by the way, I'm in no way taking the high road on a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it's just one of the things, man. You never know the situation. But I'm certainly not texting and driving, and I'm certainly not like fiddling around with my phone and things like that. It's just like, oh, somebody's calling me. Look down at my phone. Oh, it's that person. Okay, and that's not important. But it's this person. They're calling me. I'll go ahead and answer the phone, and if they're, if it's super super important, it's not going to be a long phone call in the first place. But if it's not all that important, then it's just like, okay, maybe I'll find a place to stop real quick because it's distracting. Try to stay as least distracted as possible. Because if I'm going like 70, 80 miles an hour down the interstate, and somebody calls me and it's just like, oh, that's a pretty important phone call, I'm not going to be able to pull over in time to answer that phone call. It's like, oh, I got to answer the phone now. But it'd have to be pretty important, though, I would think. It'd have to be pretty important for me to answer it. But again, not taking the high road. It's all situation based for the most part. But if I'm driving a truck, absolutely not. That phone better be hooked up to the truck itself if it's possible, to where it's just like to where you get one of those headsets, that's where I would definitely, I'll answer the call, but just like I let them know that I'm driving if it's important. Just like, yeah, your call is important, but what do you need? I'm driving right now. Oh, that thing? Okay, yeah, and then hang up. Real quick. I do know some companies that if they call you for an important call and you say, I'm driving, they will hang up. Even some, I even gotten out of some scammers that way. Anyway, just back to what I was saying before. It's just, it's just one of them things, man, that we really shouldn't be distracted by, but most of us do it. But it doesn't make it right. I know that for sure. Like most of us do it, but that doesn't make it right. We should definitely not be distracted by such things. But yeah, if I'm driving a semi truck, I'd probably be so focused on my driving that I probably wouldn't even know the phone was ringing for a bit. And go, oh, the phone's ringing. Well, I guess I'm missing that call. Just because I guess you'd call me paranoid. I'm constantly aware of what's around me because I'm so scared that of causing a wreck, um, or of or having somebody smash into me that I do not want to end up in that situation if at all avoidable, because most of them are. Most crash with semis are usually avoidable. Uh, I would say most of them, because there are a bunch of them that happen because of other motorists causing the semi either to crash into somebody or causing somebody else to crash into the semi, and that type of stuff. But again, it's all situational based. But yeah, I'm so scared of that scenario that I would not want to be. It's just because, if you don't know, when it comes to semi trucks, if you get into an accident, it doesn't matter if it's clearly the other driver's fault. Like you're driving down the highway and somebody pulls out in front of you and you T-bone them. And it's clearly the other driver's fault. You can see that just by even a monkey could identify who was at fault at that wreck, right? The truck driver immediately is put at fault of the wreck. Now that doesn't stay there, but it's if you have a CDL Class A, you know very well that if you get into an accident with anything, even if it's not another motorist, that doesn't matter. And clearly whose fault it is, you know that you're immediately guilty until proven innocent situation. Because apparently having a CDL, everybody expects the CDL driver. Like I know that the CDL driver should be the better driver, right? And they should avoid such accidents. But there's times where you can't avoid that accident, and you end up crashing into something or someone else, but you're immediately put at fault because you're supposed to be able to tell the future. You're supposed to be able to have a crystal ball in your truck. And I've talked about this before, and it's really incredibly annoying. It should not be a guilty until proven innocent. It should be everybody's assumed innocent until one party or another is proved to be the one at fault for a wreck like that. Now, if you crash into a tree, more likely, 99% of the time, it's going to be your fault for some stupid reason. Whatever stupid reason that may be. You decided that tree decided to not be, or decided it needed to be crashed into. Or whatever, sign or whatever that may be. It's just like, man, why are we immediately to blame here? It's just that so many times, and a lot of the times what ends up happening is the driver's fired from, if they were working for a big corporation, big company, where that driver could immediately be replaced. within the same day, more than likely, because they got drivers lining up, that type of stuff. Like driver gets into an accident, loses his job, and maybe even faces legal trouble. So he's got no job to make money. He doesn't have the money for legal fees, court fees, and all this other stuff because he got into an accident with somebody else. And it could be clearly not their fault. They could have dash cam and everything, but you still have to go through all that crap. And even if you're found to be innocent of the accident, the other driver was clearly at fault, and there's no way for you to avoid it. You still lost your job. You still lost your livelihood, stuff like that, and there's no reversing it. Usually, it's just like fucking. It's such a harsh time. But yeah, and I'm not condoning at all the poor decisions of truck drivers either. The poor ones of us that decide to be negligent, or they decide to be that I'm gonna drink and drive today, or I'm gonna just not care. I'm just gonna drive my 100,000-pound death machine and just not care today. That's what they woke up and decided to do that day. It's like, or yeah, they were negligent and made a mistake that could have been easily avoided. That's why I'm so paranoid about it, because it's just such a thing. Anyway, that's depressing to talk about. We're almost done with the mission, though. But you can't deny that there is a huge share of Class C drivers that just do not care about truckers around them, or any other driver for that matter. Like, I'm going to do what I want, and if you try to stop me, you're a horrible person. I don't care how dangerous what I'm doing is. See it all the time. That's the worst thing too. Like, I'm also afraid to get a dash cam for my personal vehicle, because I'm afraid if I get a dash cam, a lot of the stories you hear from dash cam owners, that once you own a dash cam, for some reason, you attract all the idiots. It's the same with truck driving or equipment operation when you're operating heavy equipment down the highway or whatever, or you're near the highway. It's just you seem to attract all the idiots. That's what we always said in DOT, because we got the bright orange trucks with flashing lights and stuff like that. And you seem to just attract all the idiots, like mosquitoes to a porch light, or mosquitoes and moths and everything else to a zapper. You just seem to attract all the attention. But using human psychology, they designed lights now on trucks. If the truck is designed to be ran into at a construction zone on the highway, interstate, whatever, like an attenuator, for example, the lights on that are designed to psychologically make a driver, if the driver's going to hit that vehicle, it's psychologically meant to make the driver run into it in a certain location. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I bet some of you didn't. An attenuator is basically, it's the truck with the big old thing on the back. It usually has like barrels on it. It looks really weird. It's like yellow and black. It's got flashing lights on it. Big old rectangle, boxy looking motherfucking thing hanging off of the back of a dump truck. If you see that thing's designed to be ran into. Anyway. Here, Rink 28, nice. I get to keep the trailer? Sweet. Yep, that thing is designed to be ran into. So. So if you're running through through the cones over into the construction zone lane, running through the tapered cones. You know, the ones that push you over into the other lane or lanes. If you're running through them cones and you can't stop, you can't avoid being in that lane or whatever for some weird reason, or you get shoved over by another motorist, that thing is the thing to hit. It's designed to be ran into, just in order to keep you from running through the construction zone and running over people working in that zone. But yeah, it's actually the lights on that thing are designed to force the driver to run into it if they're going to run into it. You know, like they'll make unconscious decisions to run into it because it's basically like a target, um, saying, "Hey, aim here," basically. You're out of control. Aim here. The only bad thing is that they're not really designed to be hit by semis. I mean, they are, but they aren't. I've seen some ones that got hit by full on by a semi going 80 mile an hour. There was nothing left of that or the dump truck, really. He hit that thing so hard that the dump truck actually flew off of the interstate and out into a farmer's field, clear across the massive, massive ditch there is out there. Down the freaking hill, back up the other side, and the brakes are locked and the wheels are turned on those trucks. So if they do get hit, they'll go off the road. They won't just go straight. If it breaks the brakes or whatever. Yeah, I got hit by a semi. There's nothing left of the attenuator or the dump truck. It was gone. uh, that thing went to the scrap heap like a tin can. A lot of good times, though. I think we'll just languidly drive back to the garage with our newly found tanker trailer. Go and put this near all the other trailers, I suppose, or next to the garage or something. Not that it's really needed there, but I got modded trucks, so fuel is not really an issue. But yeah, pretty much all the jobs I would say I've had over the years, other than the one where I worked at Walmart when I was in high school. I worked at Walmart, as well as when I was going to college, I worked at the college as well as a custodian. Um, that was both those jobs were not jobs I enjoyed, but after that, working for irrigation field, um, irrigation wells and all that, as well as working on working for Department of Transportation, the job where I had hauling logs, the tow trucking business that I worked for a little while, kind of off and on. That was also a good time. All of them were a good time. I enjoyed all those jobs. Glad for the experience. Okay, I think we will park this trailer maybe over by that container. Might be a good spot for it. But anyway, I think that is, let's see, what time are we at? Yeah, that's a pretty good stopping point. I think it is about time for the outro. I think that is going to be it for this episode of SnowRunner. Um, Again, I really do hope you enjoyed, but as I say with every one of these episodes, I understand if you didn't. This is one of those games that they're just not entertaining enough for me anyway, and for a lot of people they're not high action packed or anything. But yeah, but I do hope you did enjoy, and if you did, I'm glad for you. Um, Glad you enjoyed it. But like I said, that's going to be all. And until next time, when we probably finish up, I'd imagine we're getting pretty close to the end of this. Yeah, we got 2 missions left. As you can see in this under the statistics, missions finished, 11 out of 13. We haven't found all the vehicles, but I don't think I'm going to worry myself about those. But like I said, until next time, I guess it's a goodbye.